Hey everyone, this is Derrrick Broze with the Conscious Resistance Network. And today I want to talk to you about the pyramid of power. For those of you who've been following my work for the last few years, you probably know I've been working on this 17-part epic documentary series called The Pyramid of Power. You can find it at theconsciousresistance.com and also at our main website, thepyramidofpower.net. And so far, we've released 13 episodes of this series. And I want to say first off, I'm so grateful for Jeremy Martin, who is my first editor, Becca Godwin, who helped me get all the way up to this point, for everything that they've done to make this series and my research look as beautiful as it does in this series. And also thank you to everybody who's been out there watching it and sharing it. Some of you have told me you've used this series to homeschool your children, and that's a really cool thing to hear. And so I'm just really excited to get to the end of this series to finally share my research on these final topics and answer the question, who's at the top of the pyramid, or what is at the top of the pyramid? So as I'm getting ready to finish this series, I have now started working with a new editor who I'm going to introduce to you today. And the reason we're taking some time to get to know him is because we're going to be crowdfunding to finish these final 4 episodes. We have episode 14, 15, 16, and in 17, where we will answer the question, who is at the top of the pyramid? So he's going to help me finish these last 4 episodes. And to do that, we're going to need your help, your support, specifically financial support, to crowdfund this. This entire project has been crowdfunded. And for that, I'm so grateful to all of you out there who have helped us get this far. And with your help, we can finish these episodes, and by 2025, we can complete this series and really have a body of work that could be shared with your friends and family from here on out. That was my goal with creating this series, making it short, bite-sized chunks of information, helping people progressively go deeper down the rabbit hole to see the truth about what's going on in our world. And also for me to try to see, who is at the top of the pyramid, because I'm not even still quite sure. So with all that said, I want to invite Stephano to the show. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for this. We've been chatting, getting to know each other, and preparing to bring the Pyramid of Power back. We only released 1 episode in 2023, unfortunately, but I think it was a very epic episode, The Technocratic State. But now I think it's time to get back in the swing of things. People are excited. I'm getting the emails asking, Derrrick, when's the series going to come back out? And to do that, I'm gonna need your help, man. So before we get into the Pyramid of Power, I'd like to give you a chance to just share whatever you'd like with the audience about your background as it relates to editing, videography, or just anything you want to share.
Man, where do I start? So I was born in Montreal. I lived in the United States from 89 to 2010. Around 99, I was walking a dog for a person who was a producer. I had been out of high school, dropped out of college, and I ended up by walking her dog. She said one day, she said, "Hey, I got this shoot. I need a camera assistant. Would you be available?" I was like, "Hell yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. I'm really interested in this stuff." And I started helping out that way. A year later, a year into having been a production assistant, camera assistant, 9/11 happened, and I was in the DC area, living in the DC area at the time. So I covered that whole particular period of time. I went to the various inaugurals with Bush and various other things that happened like that. So kind of a bit of an exciting time. And then in New York, I moved up to New York in 2006. And from 2006 to 2010, I worked with a photographer and set up his video side. We did artwork and art repro stuff. So we got to interview, I was direct in the art world, and I got to meet and hang out with a lot of the big artists in the New York area. And then up here back in Montreal, I did the same. I moved back to Montreal to stay with some family. I got to work with a whole bunch of folks as far as the video side was. It was a bunch of industry and corporate videos as a freelancer. And then COVID happened, and that brought me back in. And I did a lot of editing at that point. So that's the quick background for.
And did you tell me before that you were involved with autonomy?
Yes, exactly. I am an autonomy season 8 student, and yes, that's pretty much.
Could you share a little bit about autonomy for those who might not know about Richard Grove's project, The Autonomy?
Autonomy is a sort of a life skills university. I don't know how to say it. You go through 3 extraordinarily intense months of learning some life skills, learning how to organize yourself, time management, sort of even non-aggressive speaking, learning how to speak to people who you have a hard time trying to get through to. And the community that's there is absolutely fantastic. So it's all about pushing you forward in your ideas, and because of that kind of atmosphere, you do the same with others. And I've had an opportunity to be able to, like, I'm putting together a film school at the moment. I have a weekly YouTube, a social media show where I go really deep into certain movies. So we look at the production and we look at the themes, and we discuss the themes. Movie Night Madness, man.
Very
Look
cool.
it up.
I'll check that out. Well, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that, brother, and I appreciate that. And one other question: had you heard of or seen the Pyramid of Power prior to us connecting recently about this?
Yes, I have. During the pandemic, for sure. It was one of the pieces of media that came across my desk. I had gotten up to season 2 and then sort of didn't know what was going on. And then I didn't know that there was a season 3 until we connected recently.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you for reaching out to me. And I want to say also thank you to everybody else who did respond whenever I put out the call and said I was looking for editors. I had a lot of people reach out, and many talented peoples. Of course, at the end, I focused on one person to help me finish this project, and I'm excited about it. So let's talk about what's left. Right now, I have already written, recorded, and got over to Stephano, and he's now putting together a storyboard for chapter 14, which is called the false flag deception. So we're going to be talking obviously about false flags, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about it. It's not going to be just focused on 9/11. There's a couple of minutes there about 9/11, but it's mainly focused on the Oklahoma City bombing, which is, I believe, another false flag event that is pretty heavily documented. And then the claims of gas attacks in Syria from 2013, 2016, 2018. We focus on the ones in 2013 and in this episode, and really breaking that down for people, just how false flag operations work and what the history of that is. And then chapter 15, we're going to have, I don't know what the final title is going to be, but something along the lines of the pedo class, the pedocracy, something like this. This is basically going to be a deeper dive into the world of the reality that various institutions, be that religious, academic, political, media, etc., have become infiltrated with child abusers and with pedophiles. And we're going to look at the history of that, not just things like Jeffrey Epstein that many people are familiar with, or even my work on the Finders cult, but some more obscure examples of this, and also look at how this seems to pervade all levels of government, all different religions, and really ask some disturbing questions about that topic. And then chapter 16 is the religion and secret societies. That's going to be a fun one, because we're going to have Mark Passio is going to be one of the main guests interviewed in there, but we're going to go deep into that topic and really exploring how historically religions can be tools for control and for manipulation, and how secret societies are a reality that exists. And we'll go deep into that. And then the final episode, most likely, chapter 17, will be answering that question, who or what runs the world. And I'm excited about that, because my goal with that is to interview everybody who's been in the series, who's already showed up, like Richard Grove, G. Edward Griffin, James Corbett, Mark Passio. Mark hasn't shown up yet, but I've already interviewed him, and a few others that have appeared in different episodes. I asked each of them as well, who do you think is at the top of the pyramid, or what do you think is at the top of the pyramid? So we're going to have just a whole episode sharing these different perspectives of people who might say it's this one religious group that's behind everything, or it's this particular class of people, or it's this secret society. And I'm going to let them all say their piece and share and provide what they think. And then, of course, add in my own perspective into that. And I'm really excited to share that with you guys. So that's what we got left. That's what we're crowdfunding for, is to finish up 14, 15, 16, and in that final episode, 17. And as I mentioned, if we're able to do this and get some crowdfunding here and keep our new editor here paid, then the goal would be to get, we talked about trying to get at least the rest of these next 3 done by the end of the year, in that range-ish. And then by 2025, putting out the final episode about who is at the top of the pyramid. So, yeah, do you have any particular thoughts about all that, man? I know you're just diving into the series after seeing some of it, but are you excited for one particular episode, or maybe less excited about one? Is there one that maybe seems a little overwhelming?
I'm actually very, very impressed. I'm floored. I'm floored at the amount of research that you did for this whole series. So I'd love to see how you take on the secret societies. It's episode 16. because we talk about it all the time. We're aware of a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff seems to have gotten into heuristics. So we sort of like use little like shortcuts to.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it turns out too. Yeah, I was just telling my partner Miriam this yesterday that like I get when I'm in the middle of the research and the writing process, I mean, I get super deep and I'm just in there doing nothing else for days. And then of course the audio narration, like so I get super into the facts, and of course I cut a lot of stuff out because I'm trying to condense it to this timeline. And that's also for those who've seen it, why we do recommended reading and check out these documentaries, because the intention with this series is not to be the final word necessarily, or to have every single detail on these topics, but to include what I consider to be sort of the most important details that will at least get somebody to say, oh my God, I didn't know that before. And now that has changed my perspective, or I need to go learn more. Right. And so it's very difficult to keep it under 30 minutes. We did not succeed with the intelligence episode. I failed miserably, but with the secret societies, I think that one's going to be fun. I've got some different books that I ordered recently, some really old books, including stuff going back to George Washington's time, talking about secret societies and stuff. So I'm excited to get into that research and share that with everybody once we get there. But yeah, I mean, this is the goal, guys. If you can help us out, we're here now. It's March 2024, and we're going to be crowdfunding. I'm going to run this crowdfunding campaign probably just indefinitely. And as the funds come in, they're going to be going straight right here to my brother here so he can be paid for his time. And just to kind of give you a preview as well, guys, once we're done with the series, my goal has been to turn it into a DVD set. A lot of you have asked about that. Even though, a lot of people don't have DVD players anymore, we'll still do some DVD sets. We'll sell USB drives that my intention is to sell every episode, but then also, instead of just seeing the clips of James Corbett, here's the full interview with James Corbett. Here's the full interview with G. Edward Griffin and Mark Passio and all that sort of background information. And you can just have this one-on-one USB drive, the Pyramid of Power. And the way I see it is that you could give this to somebody, and if they're open-minded enough and they sit down and watch it from beginning to end, and of course with the idea that it's bingeable and it pulls people in and they're, okay, I want to keep going, that you could take somebody from being completely clueless about this information to being pretty informed, or at least starting to have a foundation by the end of watching the series. And that has been my goal the whole time. So it's really, we were trying to create a tool here to give you guys to wake up more people. And we need your help to do it. So, thank you for taking some time to tune in today and to hear what we're doing. And if you can donate any amount, it is all appreciated. We're going to have some perks on the crowdfunding campaign of different things so you can help us finish this series. We're so close to the end, and I'm sick of getting the emails asking me when it's going to finish. We're ready to finish it now. We got somebody ready to help me finish it, so we're excited, man. So anything else you want to offer to everybody before we check out for today?
No, thank you for the opportunity. I'm excited to get started. So absolutely.
All right, let's do it, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Help us finish the pyramid.